So I want to take a look at this last the example that I just did and talk a little bit about my guesses here. I started with 1.5 and then my next guess became 1.63 and the next one became 1.618. And notice the differences between each of those guesses is getting smaller and smaller. That's called converging. You're getting more and more accurate. And that depends a lot on what my initial guess is. So let me illustrate that with an example. So if I have a function that looks like this, and I have a answer here, call it the root, and I am going to make a guess. And I say my first guess is this point right here. Call it x1. So remember, my process is the formula is based on taking the point, calculating the slope of the tangent line and the equation of the tangent line, using that to calculate this where it meets the x-axis, and that becomes my second guess. And then if I drew this a little bit further on here, kind of ran out of graph, then I use my second guess right here, draw the equation of the tangent line, draw it back to the x-axis, and that becomes my next guess. What's happening is that I'm getting further and further away from my root. That's called diverging, which means that if you happen to see that mathematically, that every time you do an iteration of Newton's method, your answers are getting further and further apart, then your initial guess was no good, and you should go back and try a better initial guess. So not all initial guesses are perfect. It's sometimes a lot of experience, but a little bit of trial and error, and understand that Newton's method depends heavily on your initial guess.